All right, welcome to another edition of the Clovis Sports Report with Paul and Austin, a review of track football.
Haven't thought of a better name yet.
No,
So,
yeah. So first things first, I'm on tilt a little bit, Austin, because I just watched the new Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker trailer, and got a lot of emotions, lots of things to talk about. But I'm going to talk about track football. I'm going to try to get my game face.
I got to this guy's house and he was like stressed over this trailer about to drop. He had his hands over his head, and I was kind of caught off guard. But he's all in on Star Wars, which I respect a lot because I am too.
Okay, cool. So we're on the same page with that. But we're here to talk some track football. Yes. We've turned our camera around. Before we were facing the big lots picture, of our summer cottage, in Tuscany. Mm-hmm. But now we're facing outside. So, a little bit of a different ambiance here.
Kind of classier.
Classier? Okay. Okay, this is just until our studio gets built.
Right, in the process.
Yeah, it's in the process. Mm-hmm. All right. So let's get right into it. We went and checked out Buchanan and Clovis High last week. Clovis High came out strong. They got a fumble, on the opening kickoff. Punched that in. They actually went up 13-0. And Buchanan was reeling a little bit, but those guys are good. And after his 13-13, they pulled away, got a fourth quarter touchdown. Ian Kirby to Stephen Shelley.
Yep.
To make it a 27-20 game. But Austin, what are your takeaways of that game?
Like you said, Clovis came out hot, 13-0, and then Buchanan outscored them the rest of the game, 27-7. And that's a huge testament to the Buchanan coaching staff, not letting these guys kind of get down on themselves or feel sorry. We were on the sidelines and we didn't really sense any panic.
Yeah.
The kids were coming off; they were confident. They were, TO'd a bit, but who wouldn't be in that scenario? But the main story was Kendall Milton and Ian Kirby opening up the field. He finished with 327 yards passing. He lit it up, had a handful of huge third down conversions, and you couple that in with a strong running game, it's going to be tough to stop.
Yeah, and then Kendall Milton showed why he's, 5-star recruit again. Had a 7-yard touchdown late in the first quarter to cut the lead to 7 because they missed the extra point, and then busted out a 25-yarder to tie it at halftime. And then in the second half took a swing pass for 57 yards, a little controversial in that play because there was a flag on the play.
They thought there might be a clip on the edge there, but it turned out the receiver got his head across the chest, which made it a legal block. Mm-hmm. Nothing malicious, wasn't a blindside. It was just about if it was a block in the back or not, which ended up not being. The flag got picked up, actually.
Correct. Yeah. Yes, the flag got picked up, and then Clovis tied it on a Grant Lake reception from Isaiah Robles, and so it was 20-20. But then fourth and quarter, our guy Ian Kirby again just lofted a beautiful 37-yard touchdown pass to Stephen Shelley, just right over a couple of defenders. I think the safety and maybe the defensive back that was on him, right in stride. With about 3:48 left to go, and then Buchanan held on defense. There was a 4th and 16, I think, from about the 30-something yard line that fell incomplete. So Buchanan does it again. That's a couple times this year that they've been, they've had to come back and put together a strong second half.
Yep, Liberty game earlier in the year too. And there's been a couple games that have just been close in general that they've kind of grinded out with their running game.
Yeah.
But the first time that Ian Kirby has had to lead a team from behind and then in a tied ball game in the fourth quarter, and it was big for him, and that's going to help him grow as a passer.
Yeah, and again, we were impressed with that kid. I mean, he made all the throws necessary. Who knows if he doesn't put that ball on target? They might not score. Clovis might get the ball, and
And who knows? Could happen in high school football.
Absolutely. Clovis East and Clovis West. Clovis East 28, Clovis West 14. I think Clovis West got a late touchdown to make it a little more respectable. But the key in that game, from what we heard, obviously we weren't there, is that we heard at one point that Clovis West had run nine.
Yeah, this was like we were obviously at the Buchanan game, so we couldn't see firsthand, but we were kind of getting texted some interesting stats throughout this game. And I think at halftime it was 21-7 East or 14-7, something like that. and I got a text that said Clovis West has ran 9 offensive plays up to this point, and then for the game it ended up being, I believe, like 19.
Okay.
So I mean, that's going to be pretty tough to win games if you're running 19 offensive plays.
Yeah, and very frustrating as well for Clovis West.
Right.
Because I'm sure their defense was on the field a lot, obviously.
Yeah.
And we talked about this last week because Mateo Morales, one of the star linebackers in the league, was out with an injury, and I mean that guy's a stud. So I'm sure that had a huge effect on Clovis West defense. But there's Clovis East. They were 0-2 in track, so hats off to them for grinding out this win. Chandler Hamilton had 3 touchdowns. Their quarterback Sean Kelly was 8 for 11 passing, so it's a little more passing than we're used to from Clovis East. But they controlled the clock. They're gonna wear you down and kind of break your will, and so they did that this game.
And they ended a 13-game losing streak to Clovis West since they beat Clovis West in 2006 Valley Championship game, first win over the Eagles since. Yeah. So that's some good stuff right there.
Good win for them. And then Central, 51-0 over Clovis North entering the fourth quarter, ended up being 58-14. So, we expected a lot of points from Central. I don't know about 58. That's a lot of points.
I mean, we've seen them do it to track teams the last couple of years. When those guys kind of get rolling, it's about impossible to stop them. Yeah.
Silva, their quarterback, threw for a modest 204. He probably only played maybe a half or 3 quarters, and Conley, their running back, had 157 yards and 3 touchdowns, and their 2 receivers combined for about 200 yards. So
and then Frampton, the Clovis North transfer, got it. Came in and threw for over 100 yards, which is probably just like the fourth or mid-third to fourth quarter, but it's good for him. He goes against his old school, probably some friends too.
So after 3 weeks, we got Central 3-0. We got Buchanan at 2-1, and then the rest of the Clovis schools are all 1-2.
Yep.
So they're beating each other up. Obviously, it's going to change this week. Somebody's going to be 500. A couple of schools are going to be 500. But anyway, so that's the way TRAC's looking. Looks like in Central and Buchanan already played. So pretty much wrapped up, I would think, for Central.
Yep.
So we're looking forward to this week's game. So we got Central at Clovis West on Thursday. It's a Thursday game at La Monica. Clovis at Clovis North at Veterans, and Buchanan at Clovis East at La Monica. Now we're going to switch it up a little bit. Last week, we said we were both there, and we did a couple of Twitter live moments, which was pretty cool. Yeah, so we tried
that
out
for those, by the way, on Twitter. All right, log on Twitter on Friday nights, and we'll be on there.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. So, we did a couple live updates and kind of explaining what was going on at halftime, and then after the game as well. So that was really cool. Rookie mistake by me.
Right. We had a great post-game live video that we got about 7-8 minutes, but only 2 of it made it to Twitter because Paul's battery went low.
Guys.
So we lost 6 minutes, but I promise you it was good stuff.
Yeah, it was. It was great stuff.
Yeah.
Because we heard it. We're the only ones to hear it.
It'll never be recovered either.
No.
Ever.
It's gone.
It's just in a Twitter sphere.
Yeah, so if you were on that live feed, just at the 2-minute whatever mark, you just boop, gone.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so Central Clovis West, probably more of the same with Central. They're just a machine right now. Clovis West, with Senaway and Wafer, they definitely have some offensive talent.
I mean,
they're with David Piero.
I mean, their best bet is going to be to, I guess, give Wafer the ball, and hopefully he can find some yards, and you run that clock down as much as you can. I don't think they're going to have much success throwing the ball against Central, in big part because I think that Central defensive line is going to get after that CW offensive line pretty good.
Yeah.
But again, we mentioned Mateo Morales, and when you don't have him in a game like this to run the ball as well, it's going to hurt even more. So I would feed Brandon Wafer. Hopefully he can have some success running the ball. You also get to run down the clock and try and stop him on defense.
Well, you brought up a good point last game where Piero had 16 catches for 160 something yards.
Right.
He he did a good job of coming underneath the zone and finding some spots, but
Right.
I don't think Central plays zone on defense. Right? They're gonna
Those
go straight up
holes
man
aren't
to
going
man.
to be there unless someone falls down or
Yeah.
he just beats someone. Those holes in that zone are not going to be there this week. So yeah, it's going to be tough to move the ball.
Yeah, and then Clovis at Clovis North. Both those teams are 1-2. We are high still on Clovis, at least I am.
No, for sure. You have to come away from Friday.
Yeah.
I think feeling pretty good about the Cougars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Offensively, they got Nathan Johnson, who's very dynamic. He caught the first touchdown of that game against Buchanan, like a 16-yard slant, and a couple guys actually kind of bounced off him,
Yep.
and he took it in. And then Tristan Risley, who we're very impressed with as a running back for Clovis, is very talented as well. You made a good point too, talking about that game against Buchanan, where it seems Risley, by the time he's got the ball, he's already
Already downhill.
Downhill.
For
already
sure.
downhill, and he's got 3 or 4 yards already. So
Yeah.
he looks really good. Isaiah Robles, he put the ball on the money a couple times.
He did, and he was taking a beating too against Buchanan. He kept getting up. He was pressured a lot, took some hits, and he made some good throws. He kept getting up. So I like Robles.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have another pretty good game on Friday night.
Yeah. And then for Clovis North, they're coming off of that bad loss against Central. Garrett Jones, their quarterback, they seem to be sticking with him. And they were winning a lot of the preseason games, or non-league games, I should say. They were winning with guts.
They were,
and getting a touchdown, kickoff return here, and an interception return there.
I'll admit it fooled me a little bit. They reeled me in through the first 5 non-league games, so I was pretty high on them entering the TRAC, and we've seen them come back down to earth. I think this game will be competitive on Friday night, though. I don't think anyone's going to run away with this thing. I think both teams are too well coached, and I think Clovis High might have a little bit more talent in that department, but I think that Clovis North, the coaching, how they play together as a defense, and you're not having to guard Jeremiah Hunter or Xavier Worthy this week, so that makes it easier. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so and then the game that you're going to go to, Buchanan at Clovis East. That's interesting on a lot of different levels. I think this game really plays into Buchanan's hands because their defensive line is great. Their linebackers are really good, and the corners aren't afraid to hit, and that's what you need against a team like Clovis East, where they're going to run a few misdirections, a couple power plays, right, and they're going to come right at you. So I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. I think Buchanan will be able to put some points up on their defense, but
I think Clovis East will have they're going to have success against anybody on offense to some extent. I think they'll find that against Buchanan and run that clock down. But their key is going to be limiting the 60 to 70 yard plays that Kendall Milton could hit at any time. Because when you're an offense like Clovis East and you're controlling the clock and having to play great defense, that 60-yard touchdown that could happen at any time against Buchanan will absolutely kill you.
Yeah, and we've noticed this year too that the offensive adjustments that Buchanan's made in the last couple games coming out of halftime has impressed us.
Yes.
Getting Kendall out of the backfield a little bit. I mean, Kendall's a very capable receiver.
Very capable, yep.
So, on that 57-yard pass, it was just a little swing pass, caught him in stride, and once he gets that edge, there's nobody in our league that can, in the TRAC, I should say. There's nobody in the TRAC.
And fine, you can say the state too. Yeah. I mean, he's ranked the top 25 player in the country.
Yeah, for a reason.
Yeah.
And then Clovis East, seeing Sean Kelly throw the ball a few times at the beginning of the year, I thought to myself, I know Clovis East has their offense, right? And they're not going to throw the ball 20 times. However, Kelly's got a good arm. He put some balls on the money.
He does.
In that Clovis game,
he can do what they ask him to do.
Yeah.
Which is a win.
Yeah.
In that kind of offense. Yeah.
And they decided to throw the ball 11 times against Clovis West. So, and you always got to be wary of that because. Run, and then boom, do a little pop pass or something like that.
And those people up in the box are just looking for that safety. He might only be 8 yards off the ball this week, 8 to 10 yards. But as soon as he takes that first step up to trigger, they'll do that play action and try and see if they can get over the top. It won't work every time, but that's what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so those are the games that are on tap this coming week. We opened it up on Twitter and the social medias. to ask a couple questions.
Yeah, send us questions. When we ask these questions, fire away anything. We'll answer it. We'll even get to the point where we're answering any questions.
Yeah, about Star Wars?
We'll do Star Wars.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
We'll do food, we'll do Star Wars, we'll do everything.
Yeah, Tommy Tran, a friend of the show, sportscaster here in Fresno, moved to Florida to work for CBS Sports, said, well, why don't you then equate some track football teams to Star Wars characters?
Yeah, and I was very in on that idea.
Yeah, maybe next week.
Maybe next week we'll do that.
All right, so what do you got?
The first question came from Danny Fernandez at DD Fernandez, 3 Z's.
Triple Z.
So, he asked, what is your prediction for Clovis North versus Clovis this week? What has surprised you most in the track this season?
Well, so we talked about Clovis North, whatever. Predictions. Predictions always hard. If I were to make a prediction, I would say Clovis is going to win that game.
I'll say Clovis like 27-14.
Okay. So the second part, we talked about this a little bit before hitting record. What surprised us the most in track? Yeah, so go ahead, Austin.
Going into it, before league started, I would have said Clovis North starting out 5-0. But I took this question as what has surprised us most, like in league play since it started. And I think I'm going with Jamison Silva, the quarterback from Central. I had a lot of questions about what this offense could be, what he might be this year as a quarterback, and all he's done is throw for 1,800 yards, 25 touchdowns, 1 interception, and complete 78% of his passes. I'm not going to say they just moved on from Tompkins just like that because, Tompkins did a lot with his legs too. Yeah. But he's having a heck of a year, and he's just about answered every question I might have of him.
Yeah, he's been very impressive. I've seen 2 of their games, and he's definitely putting the ball on the money. He knows what his receivers are doing. He's locked. He's locked in.
He's locked in right now.
He's locked in. I would go with that. That was a great answer. Going with the Central guy. I think Buchanan's defense.
Okay, that's another good one. Yeah, that's fine.
Because they lost 8 or 9, depending how you look at it. They lost 8 or 9 starters on defense.
Most of it was like the entire front 7, and then you lose Cropper and Jones and then back 7. Yeah, or back 4.
Yeah. So I've been impressed with their defense. It's definitely keeping them in ball games. We'll see, if they end up playing old Nemesis Central again in the playoffs, we'll see how those guys step up. But Buchanan's overall defense.
And you see Kendall Milton starting to kind of be used in pass rushing situations, which is kind of scary for offensive teams because once it kind of just looks like it's a bull rush. He's trying to get by you, and he is going to beat 98% of tackles in this league. Yeah. And he wasn't doing that against Central the first time around just because he was coming back from injury. Right. So they meet again.
And that game, Buchanan was up.
Buchanan was up. Yeah, and then this kind of leads into the next question that we got from Matt Watson at Watson_Matt. If Buchanan and Central meet in the Valley title game, what does Buchanan need to do to pull out a W? Do you have any thoughts on this first?
Well, first of all, if the season continues to play out like we think, Central's going to get the 1 seed, which means home field advantage. Buchanan's going to have to go on the road again, and that's a tough place to play. They got a great crowd at Central. They got the turf. It's their home field. They've won a couple of Valley championships on that field. So that'd be first of all, a big thing to overcome is the home field. But what does Buchanan need to do?
I had a couple points. Go ahead. If you want to kind of go through them. I think that Buchanan would have to be, and all these are musts for Buchanan, they have to be outstanding in the intermediate passing game, and in addition, hit 1 to 2 deep shots in that game. Those are a must. I think Kendall will be Kendall. He'll get his yards. He'll eat up clock a little bit. That's a given. And then Ian Kirby's legs will have to be needed to evade pressure because they kind of struggled blocking Ricky Correa. The first time around, he kind of moved around, but he was pretty tentative as a runner. That first game, we saw him go down, slide. Yeah. He's starting to kind of gain confidence as a runner right now, as we've seen against Clovis, extending plays. And then I don't think that first time around Buchanan played all that bad against Central on defense. Central scored 41 for the game. One of them came by pick 6.
Yes.
One of them came on an 80-yard bomb where the safety fell down.
Yeah.
and then one of them came with 12 seconds left,
Correct.
a passing touchdown,
Yeah.
which probably had no business being thrown.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say, oh, let's just take away everything. But there's a few plays here and there where I don't think Buchanan played that bad on defense. And if they were to beat Central, it would have to be kind of a shootout anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think another point that you alluded to a little bit is the play of Ian Kirby. I felt like the last couple years, even with Jalen Cropper last year,
Right.
I felt like they really lacked the ability to get the ball downfield.
Yeah.
And this year with Kirby, we've seen it, right? We've seen him with touch. We've seen him, throw a 30-yard. What was that? Third and 33.
Third and 34, which he converted.
He converted. Yeah. Threw it up to his receiver. Brandon Hernandez came down and got it. But yeah, so I think the ability that they lacked the last couple of years to beat Central, really opening up the playbook, having that ability to go deep. I think that's there a little bit more this year. If Buchanan had one more speedster step up.
You're right. If they had Jalen Cropper back,
Yeah.
they would take that in a heartbeat.
Nice.
Yep.
Instead, he's running 82-yard, sprints down the field and not running
college
division.
guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as a true freshman.
Yeah.
Like he did last week. But yeah, so it's going to take a really good game to beat Central. But that's what it would take to beat a team of Central's caliber. I think they actually moved up to number 11 in the state by Cal High Sports.
Yeah.
And I would argue they're a top 6 or 7 team.
They could be. I'm worried about when Central goes and plays these teams outside of our league. Their lines don't seem to quite hold up.
Yeah.
Against some of these schools. That would be my only question.
Yeah.
But I mean, they don't have to play any of those schools for at least 6-7 weeks. So,
Till the state playoffs.
Yeah.
All right. So Austin, you got anything more to add? You said we were going to be done with under 17 or 18 minutes.
I pegged this one at 18. We'll see.
I think we're about 19:23. That's my guess. I don't know.
I got 17:44.
I think so. Okay, I'm going to take the over. All right. So thanks, guys, for watching. I know if you guys get to the end of these videos, man, you're a gamer.
You're a gamer. And if there's anything you want us to add to these videos
Yes.
or make any suggestions, tweet us. We're pretty open. This is all pretty new to us. So let us know what your feedback is.
Feedback is most welcome, for sure. So also be sure, tell us, if you see us at the game, give us a little shout. Hey, like the videos or whatever.
Yeah.
And also on social media, hit that like button as well, or retweet. That really helps as well
Yes,
to get
sir.
the word out. So for Austin Kemp, Paul Meadors, Clovis Sports Report, thanks for watching and listening, and we'll see you soon.